We always have, you dopey cunt. That's the name of this planet
But
we're on.
that's what I'm saying, though. It's not our problem. We're never going to leave it. So it's our world. So leave it as world. It's a bit of information. You don't write so-and-so road, London, England, Earth. You don't need it.
What other words are you annoyed by? Other words are out there you're thinking, why is that there? Because we do not need it.
It's one of them where I come across something. They're not always in my head. It's just... I'm trying to think of something that I've seen recently that's a word.
I'll say some words, Carl. You tell me whether you like them or not. Okay? Yeah? Route.
What sort of route are we talking about?
Good question. What about a pre-planned journey?
No, you don't need it. You just go, which way are you going? I thought you meant beetroot. That's
root
alright.
vegetable.
What, you don't mind beetroot?
Depends what I'm having.
He doesn't mean the food, he means you don't mind the word existing. This is because you have such a limited vocabulary that it annoys you and intimidates you that people are using words, correct words, the correct English language.
Probably.
Are you happy with chair? Should we keep chair?
It works. It's fine.
Are you happy with the chair you sit on, or the chair who's in charge of like a forum or a meeting? What would we call a bloke who's in charge of a meeting?
Chief.
Chief? Okay, what about bloke who's in charge of a
some
group
Native
of
Americans.
Native Americans?
I don't know any. Again, not going to affect my life.
No, but what would you call him? He's a bloke who's in charge of all the Indian... all the
Seriously, not a problem
Yes,
to
but
me.
it's a problem for someone, so
Yeah,
you've got to have a
who's
word for
Head
it.
chief.
Head chief.
Oh, so he's... that means he's the bloke in charge of people who are in charge of meetings.
That's
No,
confusing.
you've got-
I'm confused. I don't know who
Yeah,
you're
I'm
talking
confused,
about, mate.
actually. I'm confused here.
I mean, some words I know you're not happy with. There are certain numbers you're not keen on. What about number 7? Would you get rid of that?
I've heard about that tribe where it is just like they have 3. They say that's all they need in their life. 1, 2, 3.
Really?
Yeah, give us 3 of them. And then actually it gives another 2 with them 3. It's all like just easy.
I love the fact that they're still saying they're talking like that.
Still down the market.
Yeah. We should have a word for this 3 and this 2. Nah, fuck it. I very rarely want 3 then 2. Keep it 3 then 2. How many do you need now? Just 1 and another one. Or say 2. Oh yeah, I could say 2. Yeah. Do you want one more? If I wanted 3, I'd say 3. Do you want one more? Yeah, go on, give us 3 and 1. As the writer and pioneering ecologist Rachel Carson once wrote, "Those who dwell among the beauties and mysteries of the earth are never alone or weary of life. Earth, third rock from the sun, and the only known planet in the universe to accommodate life, was formed about 5 billion years ago. Extensively covered by saltwater oceans, it supports a myriad of organisms, the most evolved of which is man. Yet how we humans interact with our world could be sowing the seeds of our own destruction. With environmental concerns still high on the political agenda, what is the future of life on Earth? How are we coping with the threat of global warming? And is our newfound ecological concern too little too late?" To discuss the past, present and future of the Earth, I'm joined by Stephen Merchant, award-winning writer and graduate of the University of Warwick.
Hello.
And Carl Pilkington. Oh, look at his round-headed cunt!
Alright.
I've been hit by global warming recently, Rick, a couple of times actually.
Go on.
I don't want to be one of those people that's like, oh, you know, because of the snow and the rain, that's obviously to do with global warming, but it probably is. I was flying out to the States, you know, just hopping over stateside.
Yeah.
And on the old plane, it was one of those bleak, kind of snowy days recently. They got us all on the plane. We sat on the runway for 4.5 hours. 4.5 hours while they de-iced the plane. Now, it's good that they de-iced it, but I don't want to be told that the plane needs de-icing. I didn't know planes could get iced in a way that they needed to be de-iced. Sometimes, Rick, if it's a chilly morning, right, got the old car, what I'll do is I'll pop the engine on, okay, let it warm up, pop inside, have another cup of tea, come back out, it's lovely and warm and toasty in there. That's what I'd like to have seen them do with the old plane.
The pilot goes, "Don't you get on yet? Let me
Let me
run it around the
warm it
block."
up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But also, when it's up at 30,000 feet, it's like minus 50,
Well, this
60
is it.
degrees.
This must get iced up anyway.
So-
There's not some guy on the wing
doesn't
scraping
get
with all
out,
those little
no.
plastic things.
Yeah,
You don't see them if you've got a
we
window
got
seat.
to put in here. We got to put in here for a while. It's iced up.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. But also, I didn't see anyone de-icing, so I don't know how they do it. It's not presumably with, like I sometimes use a CD case if I haven't got one of those scrapers.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, I don't know if
Yeah.
there was people with, probably with a vinyl record scraping away, but 4.5 hours to de-ice it. Bunch of people on there whinging and phoning and calling and making me annoyed anyway. Get to Los Angeles, City of Angels. Famously, glorious weather all year round. That's why people move there. Pissed down with rain the entire time I was there.
I know you hit the storm. I think I moved out of LA and went to New York the day before it turned horrible, didn't I?
The problem was, I hired a car, right? And I was going to get a relatively cheap car. They persuaded me to upgrade to a Mercedes convertible. I thought, yeah, I'll look good driving around LA, and that. Couldn't use the top down, obviously. Every day I'd get in this car. Every day it would be pouring with rain. I could hear it splattering on the fabric roof, thinking I just paid over the odds for this. And every time there'd be a break in this cloud, I would instantly stop and lower this thing and drive around sub-zero temperatures just to have the top down.
I would like to have
even though
seen
it's still
you,
cloudy and grim.
like at 85 degrees, just whizzing down the freeway at 90 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But your glasses would fly off.
They
wouldn't
would. This is the problem. It's what I've never really thought. Plus, I lost my sunglasses, so I have to wear a hat in order to keep the sun out of my eyes. And all I had, I thought I need to take out with me. All I had was a kind of what I like to think is a rather fashionable Justin Timberlake style trilby.
Oh, it's not
But
that hat that makes you look like one of Bill and Ben.
See, I think it makes me look like a like Tom Waits or a sort of 1960s news reporter.
Oh right.
But you,
I thought Bill and Ben.
you
I thought Bill and Ben the Flower Pot Man.
The problem with it is when I bought it, again, I was suckered into it. A bloke sold it to me, told me he was a street vendor, and he told me I looked amazing in it. I'll be honest, I gave him as well. I'm beginning to wonder if I was part of his sales pattern and he wasn't just a lovely fellow who's trying to help me out. But yeah, it's not quite big enough, so instead of sort of pulling in tight down by the ears, it sort of sits pork pie-esque on top of my head.
Right.
And it is in danger of flying off. It did fly off into the back seat when I was driving. Luckily, I could stop and pop it back on again. But yeah,
that's great.
It didn't fly off, and you don't want that as you're cruising past a couple of sort of Playboy bunny types in an open-top Cadillac, and you're just grinning to them, and your hat flies off.
Or it hits a big Al's Angel on a chopper behind you
Of course,
in the
yeah.
face. He
he's
scratches
flapping
his
around.
bike. You stop and you
Yeah.
go, "It's my hat."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Is it?"
Exactly. What annoyed me was I was with my mates and we were driving around and we had a bunch of friends and they said, "Oh, can you pick up a couple of friends of ours?" And we picked them out, a couple of girls. I thought, "Well, ding dong, here we are, good-looking girls." They got in the car. Instantly, we were going, "There's not much leg room." I was thinking, for God's sake, it's a bloody Mercedes! I couldn't even impress them with it. It's costing me a fortune. I thought they'd go and go, "This is a lovely bit of motor," but no, whinging straight away, never met before. First thing we said.
Let's accept, right, that at some point about 13, 14 billion years ago, there was nothing. There was no space for the nothing to be in. There was no darkness, no light, nothing. Okay, literally nothing, except what is nearly a point in space that contained everything in the known universe. Okay, suddenly that exploded, and in a matter of minutes the universe was pretty much as it is now. And in all the debris, in all the dust, things started to cling together, one of which was the Earth.
Can I have Carl pick up the story from there?
Yeah. So there we are. We've got the Earth. We've got this big
What happened next?
planet.
Probably nothing for quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just sort of floated about.
Yeah.
But it wasn't causing a problem because it wasn't annoying anyone.
No.
You see, we don't get a chance of that these days.
No.
You pop something down, someone says, "Move that." Dangerous, what is it?
Yeah.
Back then, nothing. So it's hanging around, and if you leave something somewhere, something will sit on it.
Right.
Okay, if you leave something somewhere, something will sit on it, yeah?
We'll say like a bin bag. I can put a bin bag outside. Bin men don't come until Friday,
Sure.
but I don't want it in the house. It's
Sure,
got
yeah.
chicken in it.
Yep.
I pop it outside, right? It's sat there for a few days now. Just time, like, a day before the bin men are coming.
Yeah.
I pick that up and take it round the front.
Right.
It's got a slug living under it,
Uh-huh.
Right.
like one of those little wood lice things.
Yeah.
Might be there.
Yeah.
Snail.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um,
What's your point?
my
We've got a
point.
young Earth. It's 4.5 billion years ago. It's whizzing round the sun.
Something's going to sit on it.
Yeah, something had to sort of happen, didn't it? I tell you what it's like.
Go on.
In the same way, penicillin
Go on.
happened.
Go on.
It was the bread was sat there. It goes off. Air would have created the greenness.
Oh God! This sounds like the Bible. That is like the Bible. Air created the greenness. That's amazing.
Carry on, because I want to. I'm learning here. I'm learning.
And once you've got something, that leads to otherness.
Oh, this is like a monk that sat down. Oh,
We're all
that's
sat cross-legged
amazing.
listening to the wise old man.
I know. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna write a thing of how everything was created.
But hang on, carry on, because
Really?
I'm interested.
Yeah.
So where are we?
So-
We had greenness, and now we've got
So
something.
the air created the greenness, and then what is it?
Then we have what was
Just
it?
otherness
Other-
from the
otherness.
greenness. Because once you've got
From greenness comes otherness.
once you've got one thing, others come.
Yes.
The air created the greenness, then you got otherness. If you create something, others will come.
Build it and they will
But
come.
it's sort of right.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying I
gobbledygook.
agree. No, so, but tell me, take me on. Continue this story, because this is fascinating. So, where are we now then? What if I was to stand on the Earth at this moment in time? What would I see?
Not that much. You wouldn't want to stay.
But there's greenness.
Little patches
Little
of greenness.
patches of greenness. Okay.
Little bit of rubble knocking around.
A bit of rubble. There was a bit of rubble. Okay.
We've still got a long way to go. We want to get to life, don't we?
Okay, let's skip forward then, Carl, to life.
So everything was right, okay? It was the right distance from the sun, okay?
Yeah, but even if it wasn't, we would still been created.
No, we wouldn't.
We would.
have.
Something
no, we
would have
wouldn't
done.
No, we wouldn't have.
I want to hear Carl's opinion on this, Rick. I'm not interested in facts. I want to hear Carl's
So
opinion.
are you saying if the atmosphere right around the Earth wasn't about 99% nitrogen and oxygen with 1% other gases, we'd have still had something else?
Something would have been around.
What would
I'm
it
not
have
saying
been?
it might be better than us. It might be worse than us.
What would it look like?
Well, it's hard to say, because they say, don't they, that it's the conditions that mould you into the shape and colour.
Sure.
And everything else that makes you the person that you are.
Okay, let's take Pluto. We know that's the farthest away. So it is dark and cold there.
Right.
How do you imagine the creatures that will develop there will
Big
look
eyes
like?
and hairy.
But how did they evolve? How did they evolve though?
Because we
they
evolved.
can't just-
Hang on. You always say animals change to suit the conditions.
I'd have thought if planet's dark, you don't need eyes, because things that live underground or at the bottom of the ocean, they don't have eyes or colour, because there's no point.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about, are we saying we're living inside Pluto or on the top of it like we do here?
Why would we live inside Pluto? There's
Well, I wouldn't-
it
I wouldn't.
couldn't support life, full stop. But this is one of the most ridiculous conversations we've ever had.
He's seriously
Because
considering whether we
everything
live
is based
inside
on
or
a
outside.
No,
ridiculously false premise. Carl,
we're
listen.
saying now
Right.
that the world's overcrowded.
Right,
There's too many people on it.
right.
We're running out of houses. People are living in basements. Now that's only one step away from being already going underground because we're running out of space.
Being Polish.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
that's
Come
like-
on, keep. I want to hear his point.
Is that
Here.
like being Amish?
So
Go
what
see
you're
the
saying?
Polish people. They don't acknowledge the crust of the earth.
So you're saying within 5 years there's going to be sort of mole-like people living in basement flats with no eyes.
But hold on though, according to you, the lower they go, the colder and darker they go, the hairier and better eyes they'll have.
Well, it depends now. I was only saying they'd have better eyes if they're on a dark planet where they're outside, so they still have to look out for things that they could trip over. If we're going underground,
walking around.
That's their sole concern. That's the whole evolution. Is that what we don't want to trip over? I don't want to graze my knees.
You've got knees. They got them on Earth. Coincidence, isn't it? Hub.
what I'm saying is, right, and I've always said this,
Go on.
we are not the same as the first man that nature made.
No, we're not. No.
And that's where we went wrong. And if we didn't interfere, we might have been more suited to the conditions now. Auntie Nora,
Right.
I'm cold. She doesn't want double glazing.
Why not?
just because she's worried that when people come round and sort of knock on the door, she won't hear them because it's all sort of double glazed.
But they're knocking on the door.
No, but she said that she didn't like a bell. It makes her jump too much.
Well,
That's
how do they get in now?
Well, it's a thin door and thin glass. You hear it. It's not like soundproof like double glazing is.
What? So they have to knock.
They knock like that on the door, and she can hear that because
But
it's
why
like
are
a
they going
wooden
to double
door.
glaze the door? Is it a glass door?
No, they want to put that PVC door in with
Hang
the
on,
thicker
so
glass.
she's scared by... You don't want a doorbell because that alarms her, but the knocking's fine.
The knocking's fine because you
Why
get to know knocks.
Why don't they have a bell that when you press it, it makes that noise?
Because they haven't done that yet.
Well,
Maybe that's an idea.
you could do a sample of it like that. So when they press the doorbell, she hears. That's easy. That's done. You could sort that out for her.
Well, I don't want to start getting dragged into it because...
But why don't you tell her? Say, Auntie Nora, have double glazing. Be warm. Be safe. Hear the knock of the bell on the doubly door.
This is it though, isn't it? She wouldn't be around now if it wasn't for people interfering, coming up with tablets, making weak people live longer.
Right. Are you annoyed at that? You're
I
annoyed.
know, he's such a fascist, isn't he? Auntie Nora, a weak person who has been allowed
Yeah.
to live.
No, but
Eugenics is where you'd be happier.
Do you recycle and not leave the tap running and turn off lights because you're worried about a child born in 100 years' time?
No,
No.
because I don't think... at the end of the day, we have to face facts here.
Go on.
The world is
it-
old.
Hold on. Right, okay.
The
Yeah,
world's
it's
old.
Really old.
And it's the same as if you've got a gran who's 70.
Yeah.
There's not much you can do for her. You can say you're warm, but at the end of the day, she's still going to be shitting her pants. She's still going to be, forgetting things
Right.
and all the rest of it. And you might be taking care of her, but at the end of the day, the good days are gone.
Right.
Yeah.
So, in a way, like the world, it's got to a point that it's old, and we can say turn the tap off, turn the lights off, close the windows, stop letting heat out.
The earth, metaphorically, is shitting its pants.
You've only got to look at what's happening, right? It's freezing, isn't it, at the moment out there?
Yeah.
Ice everywhere, snow everywhere. Now, an old person, what happens to them? They're always cold. It's like the earth, isn't it?
Brilliant.
The earth now is freezing.
Yeah.
It feels the cold
It's
more than
winter
ever.
as well. It's also because it's winter, but yeah.
And I think if you try and make it better now, you end up doing more damage.
Does it make any
Doesn't
sense at
make
all?
any sense.
Doesn't make
Doesn't
sense
make
at all.
Well, just you can sometimes it's too late to make something better. Like I've had old relations who smoke like 50 a day. Doctor said you've got to stop smoking. Stop smoking. 2 weeks later they're dead. Shouldn't have stopped them smoking.
Yeah.
Their
Smoking
insides.
keeps them
Good
alive,
advice.
is it?
Well,
Good advice.
their insides are used to all that pollution.
Yeah.
Take the pollution away. What will the world do?
Go. Good. That is a good
It's
point.
interesting. This is scientifically grounded, is it? You've done a lot of the research, read a lot of the information about this. Or is it just a wild harebrained speculation, again, backed up with nothing? Is it bullshit? Which of those two is it?
I just, like I said to you, I just think it's a theory. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You're not telling me it's a coincidence that about 3 of my old relations have died because the doctor said stop smoking.
Well, it might be because they're very old, and
Well, they were old, but it's weird how why stop them smoking? They're old.
sure.
Let them have a fag. Jesus, they've got nothing else in their life. You've took that away, they die. Let them have a fag. And it's the same with this world. It's polluted now. There's rubbish everywhere, isn't there?
You just mean in the streets and stuff.
Just different levels of. I've noticed how rubbish changes depending where you live. Just like when I lived in the centre of town, it was rank. It was like human sort of poo.
Oh, what?
Yeah, honestly,
Where?
down alleys and that.
What, tramps, you mean?
It must be. I don't know. I didn't sort of
Or
hang around
drug
to see who's
addict or-
doing it. It's just, but very human. It wasn't dog-like.
How do you know it's human?
Just the way it looked.
What do you mean?
Well, you'd walk past it and you go, look at that there, Susan.
Yeah.
So look at that.
Oh,
That looks
okay.
human.
Oh, yeah. And what does Suzanne say? Yeah, can we walk somewhere else from now on? This isn't...
Yeah, why are you walking up and down this same alley with all
I
this
wanted to
shit?
because it's a
show
cut-
you the human poo.
It's the cut
Were you having
through.
a shit yourself?
It's the cut through that we used to always use, and most of the time it was just like smell a wee, really strong wee,
Yeah.
and you'd see if you could hold your breath for the full thing. But
A little bit of fun, a little bit of romantic fun after a night evening in a restaurant.
I remember when he took her for a walk around the car park.
so, but now I've moved to like, a posh bit of London, you still get litter, but I saw like a rice cake. That's what I chucked on the floor.
Yeah,
That's like, you
it's
know,
just hummus tubs and
yeah, but it's still rubbish, isn't it?
yeah,
It's still rubbish.